Hello and welcome to this Friday's episode of Sports Corner. I'm Cole Young, and from the start of the playoffs to champions being crowned, we have a lot to cover this week, so I'll jump right in. Starting on the golf course, the Masters at Augusta National Golf Club concluded its tournament last weekend. It was a tightly contested roller coaster of a week, but one person was officially granted the green jacket. Heading into the final round on Sunday, Rory McIlroy sat with a comfortable 6-stroke lead and seemed like he would coast into his second consecutive Masters title. Somehow, though, McIlroy blew that lead on the first 9 holes, and 45-year-old Justin Rose briefly built a 2-shot lead on the field. World number 1 Scottie Scheffler also overcame a slow weekend start and began closing in on the top spot. Rose then bogeyed on the 11th hole, and McIlroy's window reopened as the two sat tied. Then, Rory McIlroy delivered 2 big birdies around the amen corner to regain and hold on to the lead, ending the Masters on top of the leaderboard with a score of 12 under. If you remember, McIlroy won his first ever green jacket last year, becoming one of only 6 golfers in history to achieve a Grand Slam, which is winning the US Open, PGA Championship, the Open Championship, and the Masters. Now, he joins even more elite company as one of only 4 golfers in history to win back-to-back at the Masters. This is the first time any golfer has won back-to-back since Tiger Woods did it in 2002. It was an incredible performance and overall exhilarating weekend, and I can't wait for the Masters next year. While that tournament might be over, the NBA playoffs and Stanley Cup playoffs are officially here. To get the action started in the NBA, the play-in games began on Tuesday. If you need a quick refresher on the play-in games, here's my attempt at an explanation. 8 teams will be competing in the play-in tournament to earn the final 2 playoff spots in each conference. First, here are the 8 teams in this year's play-in tournament: the 76ers, Magic, Hornets, and Heat in the East. It's the Suns, Trailblazers, Clippers, and Warriors in the West. The teams that finish number 7 and number 8 face each other, while the number 9 and number 10 teams compete against each other. The winner of the 7-8 matchup secures the number 7 playoff spot in their conference playoffs, while the winner of the 9-10 matchup and the loser of the 7-8 game play each other to determine the 8th and final spot in each conference. The loser of the 9-10 game is automatically eliminated, which officially ends their season. Very confusing, I know, but here's how it shook out this year. In the Western Conference, the 7-seed Suns and 8-seed Trailblazers got the action started on Tuesday night. Denis Avdija scored 41 points, including a go-ahead 3-pointer with 16 seconds left, and the Portland Trailblazers overcame an 11-point deficit in the fourth quarter to beat the Phoenix Suns 114-110. Portland earned the number 7 seed in the Western Conference playoffs and will face the San Antonio Spurs in the first round. Meanwhile, the Suns are not done just yet. They had to wait until Wednesday to see who they would face with a chance to become the 8th and final seed in the Western Conference playoffs, and it would either be Los Angeles or Golden State. The 9-seed Clippers took on the 10-seed Warriors on Wednesday. The loser would go home, while the winner would move on to face the Suns, as I mentioned. Stephen Curry scored 27 of his 35 points in the second half during Golden State's electrifying fourth-quarter comeback, and the Warriors advanced in the NBA's play-in tournament with a 126-121 victory over the Los Angeles Clippers. The Clippers led 98-85 with 9 minutes to play, but the 38-year-old Curry led Golden State's comeback by hitting 7 3-pointers. Now, the Warriors and Suns will battle it out with a final spot in the playoffs on the line. That game will tip off tomorrow at 7 p.m. and can be seen on Amazon Prime Video. In the Eastern Conference, the 9th-seed Hornets tipped off with the 10th-seed Miami Heat on Tuesday night, and this was a game to remember. With little time remaining, the Hornets trailed by 3 points. Charlotte's Kobe White drilled a turnaround 3 with 10.8 seconds left in regulation to send the game to overtime, capping off his 19-point performance. Nobody ran away with this game in overtime, though, and it stayed closely contested until the very end. LaMelo Ball made a layup with 4.7 seconds left in overtime. Miles Bridges blocked Davion Mitchell's attempt at a winning layup at the buzzer, and the Charlotte Hornets beat Miami 127-126 in a wild start to the NBA's play-in games, eliminating the Heat from the playoffs. Ball finished with 30 points and 10 assists, and Bridges had 28 points and 9 rebounds as the Hornets won their first postseason home game since winning Game 5 against Miami Heat on April 27, 2016. Now, the Hornets had to wait until Wednesday to see who they would be facing to earn the 8th and final seed in the East, and it would be the loser of the matchup of Philadelphia and Orlando. The 7th-seed 76ers and 8th-seed Magic played for their spot in the playoffs. The winner would automatically receive the 7th seed, and the loser, like I said, would face the Hornets. Tyrese Maxey scored 31 points, VJ Edgecombe added 19 points and 11 rebounds, and the Philadelphia 76ers beat the Orlando Magic 109-97 on Wednesday and secured the number 7 seed in the Eastern Conference playoffs. Since they fell just short, the Magic will now play the Hornets with the final spot in the Eastern Conference playoffs on the line. That game will also be today on Prime Video, but will tip off at 4:30 p.m. The winners of those 2 remaining games will be awarded the 8th and final seed in their respective conferences. Then, the official first round of the playoffs will begin tomorrow. Our hometown Lakers will begin their playoff series with the Houston Rockets tomorrow night, with that series beginning at 5:30 p.m. on ABC. Games will be played almost daily from now until the start of the NBA Finals, which will tip off on June 3rd. That may have been a little convoluted, but the Stanley Cup playoffs are a lot more straightforward. First, for the first time in a long time, one of our local teams is returning to the playoffs. The Anaheim Ducks clinched a berth in the Stanley Cup playoffs on Monday for the first time since 2018. The Ducks officially qualified when the Nashville Predators lost 3-2 to the San Jose Sharks. While this is monumental for the Ducks, it's also a large moment for Southern California sports in general. It's the first time in 19 combined seasons that a team from Anaheim has made the postseason, as both the Angels and the Ducks have been in quite the playoff drought. Anyway, the Stanley Cup playoffs are just about secured. The final games of the regular season were played out last night. Most teams had already secured their playoff position as well as their opponents. But here's a look at the final official Stanley Cup playoffs bracket. Our hometown Ducks and Kings both secured their spots, with the Ducks taking on the Oilers beginning this weekend, and the Kings holding the daunting task of taking on the top-ranked Colorado Avalanche. These series will all play out this weekend and next week, so next Friday we can revisit the playoffs and see where every series lies. The NFL Draft is just around the corner as well. The 2026 NFL Draft will take place from Thursday, April 23rd through Saturday, April 25th in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The 3-day event, hosted at Point State Park and Acrisure Stadium, will feature Round 1 on Thursday, Rounds 2 to 3 on Friday, and Rounds 4 to 7 on Saturday. While nothing is ever 100% guaranteed in the draft and chaos always seems to unfold the day of, it seems pretty guaranteed which player will be going number 1 overall this year, and that player is quarterback Fernando Mendoza. Mendoza won the Heisman Trophy and a national championship this past season with the Indiana Hoosiers. It just so happens that the Las Vegas Raiders, who hold the first overall pick, are in desperate need of a quarterback. So, like I said, it's all but certain Mendoza will be a Raider this time next week. But you truly never know, so you have to tune in to find out. With all that said, thank you as always for tuning into this week's episode of Sports Corner. Enjoy all of the playoff basketball, playoff hockey, regular season baseball, NFL draft, and so much more that the upcoming week has to offer. Be sure to come right back next Friday for more news, updates, and highlights from all across the sports world. I'm Cole Young. Have a great weekend. I'll see you next time. Quickly, happy birthday to my dad.